So here we have a pair of Nike Air Max Sunder. This is a Canyon Gold and Deep Ocean colorway. And these were originally released in 1999, so it's an older sneaker now and just been recently re-retroed. And it was made as a cross-training shoe, so it's more for sort of outdoor activities really, and it was, I guess, built more for running, for outdoor, but you know, you can pretty much use it anytime really. It's more of a sort of, I suppose, almost sort of trail shoe vibe type look to it. And at this time I think Nike were being a bit more experimental with their trainers, and this one's got sort of minimal Nike branding, probably to appeal to more to the lifestyle audience, and the Air Max Plus is I guess another example of that as well. And that one also has like a mini swoosh with sort of minimal sort of Nike branding, which was refreshing at the time. So with the details, this has a Canyon Gold Deep Ocean white and black colorway, so that's on the box. And basically the trainer itself is one of those ones where it's I suppose in terms of the colorway you may or may not like it. There is a couple other versions that are releasing as well in different colorways. And this also has sort of Air Max units, so you can see on the heel and also on the forefoot it's very much sort of traditional Air Max units. They're quite sort of on the small side, and probably similar looking to the Air Max Plus in my opinion, but it doesn't seem to say tuned air. It's mainly sort of, you know, Max Air. And these also have what I think is an EVA midsole, because it's quite sort of soft to the touch. I don't think it's polyurethane, because that's usually I think more of a harder type material, but this one seems to be sort of more on the squishy side, not really soft, but at the same time you can sort of push into it. And this also has a neoprene sock liner, so within this shroud you have laces as well, which I don't see the point of, but you also have this inner sort of lining going on, which sort of wraps around your foot and kind of keeps you more sort of secure in place, which I personally like. And you know, that's the type of thing that's on sort of the Jordan 8 and Jordan 7 and the Huarache as well. And it also has the nylon shroud upper, so that's probably what the selling point of the sneaker is, to make it look different, and also, you know, to hide laces. I think during that time Nike were producing a lot of silhouettes that had this kind of zip function and hiding laces, which I think, in all honesty, they could probably have done away with the laces in general, because the inner lining is kind of stretchy material and you can probably just sort of mold around your foot anyway. And this also has made up of pretty much sort of synthetic material, so it's one of those ones where there's no sort of leather on here really. It's just literally sort of made up of this sort of nylon stretchy material, and then the inner lining is, which I think is more sort of mesh neoprene lining. So, but you know, it's, like I said, it's made out as one of those sort of shoes to be more sort of weatherproof really. So with the comfort and sizing, I think these are on the medium to firm side, so they have a little bit of give. I wouldn't say it's too much, but I wouldn't call this firm either. It's because it's a slightly newer Air Max tech, it does feel nice on foot in my opinion. It's not squishy soft, but at the same time there is a little bit of give there, because obviously the air sort of compresses as you're sort of walking along. And I also felt like it had a sort of good neutral support around the arch as well, because obviously it was made as a runner, and you can probably see in here it's quite sort of contoured to your foot as well in terms of the arch support. So I think in that respect it kind of works. And there's no wear in time with these because of the stretchy upper. I think the only thing that I would say is when you're sort of looking at sort of sizing options, even though it looks like a wide sneaker, because it's got two sets of I suppose lining, where, you know, the first one's going to sort of lock you in place, and then the second one is kind of even more sort of secure, that you might find that true to size might not work for you, especially if you have a wide foot. And I would recommend sort of going up half a size, and I think my toe comes to about there, which is perfect for me. Usually with mesh runners I go up half a size anyway, so for me that's perfect. But I did feel a bit of I suppose tightness when kind of doing the zipper up as well, so I find that being on the sort of tighter side, so I'm not sure if that will sort of, the zipper would hold up. And this has really good traction. Obviously it's made as an outdoor activity shoe, and it's almost got this sort of, I feel like it, to me, it looks like a, you know, almost sort of alien type lettering going on, you know. It's it's a really cool outsole. It's one of the better ones I've seen actually, and I really like it. I think it looks really cool and different. And it feels very grippy as well, so I will say that. It's not just the pattern itself, it's got a nice sort of grip on there and quite sort of chunky as well to keep you firm on the ground. So with the look and style, I like the bright zesty colours on this. So I'm normally not a fan of wearing too much sort of orange or yellow sneakers, but I think with this particular one it works. It does give me Salomon vibes as well, so I think it's got a cool sort of look to it and sort of unique and quite different to other sneakers, which I like. And it's also got sort of a reflective panel, so these are sort of reflective. I might try and sort of see if I can demonstrate this as well, but you can probably maybe work out in there it does sort of reflect and give you that sort of glow in the dark of night time, because basically if you're outdoors and maybe you're running or just having a walk, then it's a good one for that kind of thing, because it'll keep you seen in the dark. And also for that reason it's also good for sort of all weathers really. It's quite sort of a light upper material, but because you've got this second layer, I don't think the wet's going to get in too much into the trainer. So I think it's quite sort of waterproof. I won't say it's like completely to a Gore-Tex level, but it will give you some protection. And these are just mainly sort of casual sneakers. You can't really dress these up. They're not got that smart look to them. It's more of the sort of sporty vibe. So they're great for sort of going out for walks. I would even use them for running, if you're going outside running really. But obviously, just bear in mind they're not going to be up to today's tech. But if you like that kind of firm feeling on foot and that responsiveness, then you might probably like these for that kind of light running. So with the final thoughts, I do like the zipper shroud on this. It's a cool looking thing. I don't know if it will hold up, especially with my wide foot, because I feel as soon as I start doing it up I get a bit of tension, and I don't know if that will loosen up over time, but the material doesn't seem to be enough to wrap my foot around it. And the neoprene sock liner, so I do like that as well. I'm kind of a big fan of any sort of trainers that have this sort of thing in there, because it just helps to keep you more sort of secure and you don't have to worry about laces. And it actually wasn't too bad to sort of get on to my foot as well, because it, as you can sort of see, it's quite sort of flexible. I found them comfortable, to be honest. I think they are on the firm side, but when you're sort of walking around, they don't feel too heavy on foot either. They look quite chunky and sort of big, almost giving that sort of Salomon hikey shoe vibe. But I think they're quite nice actually on foot, in my opinion, even on the firm side. So with the cons, I think the cost at $165 it's a lot of money for a sneaker. However, they have sort of sold out pretty much everywhere in most sizes in the UK, and I think a lot of people in this part of the world seem to go for these because they're more sort of versatile type sneakers that you can sort of wear in sort of any weather, and that's generally sort of in the UK we do get a lot of rain. So this is a kind of perfect sneaker for that. You don't have to worry about getting dirty. And I suppose the colour and the silhouette itself is probably not something for everyone, so people will be put off by it because it looks so different, because it looks so unique, and also you just probably don't like this sort of lacing system where you got the shroud above the zipper. But I think it's cool, and I think it looks quite unique to me. And the zip build, so I'm not sure how much this will sort of last really. Like I said earlier, I just feel a bit of tension when I'm doing it up because my foot's wide, so it kind of pushes this out more, and I feel like every time I'm doing it up, I don't know if this zip will eventually give in and sort of snap and break, or whether this has enough flex on the outer material. But at the moment the outer material doesn't have too much flex on it, so maybe that will break in over time, but just be wary of that, especially if you have a really wide foot. I think if you have a narrow foot you'll be okay, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. So with the look and style, give it a 5 out of 5. I think it's a really cool looking sneaker and different, and it's something that Nike sort of bring back from the archives. They do have some really cool models, and I think it works well for this day and age as well. So like I said, being something that you can wear pretty much anytime, anywhere, and not to worry about it really, so it's cool for that kind of stuff. And the comfort, I'm going to give it a 4. I don't think it's like amazing comfort, but it's got this sort of responsiveness in there what you'd expect from an Air Max unit. So as you're walking along, it does give you that sort of lift off, and I like that. And at the moment I've kind of got to this place where I kind of like wearing firmer sneakers as well. So I could recommend this in terms of sort of wear, but don't expect it to be, soft as like a New Balance sneaker, or like a Nike Invincible Run Free. And the quality, I'm going to give that a 4. I think for me, the quality of the materials aren't great, and they never are going to be, because it's been built as more of a functional shoe. And I can see a couple of like glue stains here and there that's on the midsole, but it's still cool though. And the pricing, I'm going to give that a 3. I think for the price, it's probably priced a bit too high for this type of trainer. It's mostly sort of mesh upper with the air units in there, and probably similar to an Air Max Plus, I suppose, in the way it looks. However, I don't know, for some reason, in my mind, I think it should be cheaper at about £130 mark. And that's why overall I've given it a 4 out of 5. I think if they had came in at a lower price, I think I would have probably given it 5, because I think it's quite sort of unique and different looking sneaker, especially from Nike. And but yeah, other than that, I think it's still worth grabbing, and if you can on retail. But this getting, probably because this is like the OG colorway, it's going to be difficult to grab. But there are other colorways coming out if you're sort of not fussed on this one.